Okay, today I want to talk about Google Earth. Google Earth is so vast, I can't really explain everything about it, not even close. But what I want to do is give a how-to video on how we can use two of the functions that we have with Google Earth. The place mark and also the ruler. I actually created a lesson using these two and I want to kind of explain how I did that. First, to search for a place in Google Earth, what you do is you come over here and this is the search box. Let's say I want to look at the Pantheon. So I type in Pantheon, and I want it in Rome. So I type in Pantheon Rome, and I'll hit return. Google Earth will then take me over to the Pantheon in Rome. And as you can see right here in the center, that is the Pantheon. To zoom in on Google Earth, you can do one of two things. You can double click like that, and that will zoom me in. Or what I do is I take two fingers and place it on our keypad. If I pull down, it zooms out. If I push up, it zooms in. Now, there's a Pantheon from the top view. What I want to do is talk about next is how do I set a placeholder? First of all, if I want to get rid of this placeholder, these placeholders are marked by your sidebar over here. As you can see, it says Hotel Pantheon. If I take and unclick that, that goes away. So if I'm making a map, that's important to know, because if I'm making place marks for kids to do a lesson on and I don't want that extra stuff there, I can click it over here, uncheck it, I should say, and that would make it go away. Now to add a place mark, it's pretty simple. I hit the place mark button, and now this is important because that's what I found out is you have to know where you want your place mark to be. So at this point, when it's flashing, I can click and drag it to anywhere I want to have that place mark be. I don't want it on top of the Pantheon because eventually what I'm going to do is I want to actually use this as part of my lesson. So I actually put this over here. Now we can give it a name. We're going to call this the Pantheon. Now, I don't want to have this thumbtack. So if you look right here beside where you put the title, if you click on there, you'll get a whole list of different options that you can use as your place mark. So since I want this to be the first site that kids go to, I actually like this bubble right here that has a 1 in it, representing its first site. Now that I have that, I then will just click OK, and you'll notice that it changes to that. Then down here, you can type a description. This is the first stop for your lesson. And I can type the description. Then I click OK. Now, this is the representation of what the kids need to show where their first stop is. Next, I want to do another place mark. And I'm going to call this one question. What I'm going to do in here is type the question I want them to answer. Find the circumference and area of the circular part of the Pantheon. Now again, extremely important. See how it's sitting on top of the circle that I don't want them to that I want them to actually use in the lesson? You need to move your place marker now. Here's where I like this place mark. I come up here and you notice you can actually change it right here to a question mark. So I click on that, and I click OK. Now the kids know that's the question that they need to answer for that place mark. So at this point I am now feel like I'm ready to end this place mark, so I click OK. And now I have my two marks, which I just think is fantastic. Now, to answer this question right here, when the kids click on it, the question comes up, find the circumference and area of the circular part of the Pantheon. Well, they're going to need to measure. That's where this tool comes into play. When you click on the ruler tool, you have a window that pops up, and you can drag this window anywhere you want. Next is a drop box of what you can measure in. I'm going to have the kids measuring in feet for this lesson. But you can choose centimeters, meters, kilometers, anything you want in here. Let's just choose meters. When I choose that to actually measure something, you'll notice that I get a square. And the hash marks on the square, where they meet, is where is the point where I'm going to measure from. So I just click down, and you see the green dot on there, and then I drag across. It creates a line showing what I'm measuring. And of course we need the diameter, so I'm going to be sure it passes through the center right here. So my line passes through the center, and I take it to a point on the outside of the circle, and I click. Over here then, shows me the length in meters, or whichever unit I want, and I can write that down. I can measure anything I want on Google Earth. I can measure in a line like I am now, or this feature right here called path. So we all understand what path is if I want to know the distance from here to here, to here, to here, I can have a path that is not just a straight line, but a series of straight lines that I can measure length in. Okay, those are the two features that I use to make a lesson. The final thing I want to go over is when you have all your place marks there, come up here, you're going to do File, Save, and then you do Save Place As. When you do that, you'll get a screen, and then you can save this lesson. Now, I will tell you that the last spot you were at when you save the lesson is when you open up this file, that's where it will take you. So if you want the kids to go to the Pantheon first, make sure that before when you save it, that is the spot that you were at. That's just something I noticed when I was working with this. So here's where you would then select where you would like to save it, title it, and hit save. And then these place marks will be saved for you for the kids to do for a lesson. This is a great, great tool, and it is so vast. There's actually a college class on just Google Earth. So that's hopefully is two features that you can use that can help you in your classroom that have helped me. If you have any questions, please see me.